It's a time, let's count to 10 and spin the wheel, my fun fact brains. Learn about some awesome creatures. Give us some facts, mate.
From Fact Friday.
Hey, I'm Felix, and I like axolotls. Let's learn about them. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a creature that's basically a water monster and a science experiment gone right? Let's meet the axolotl. These lonely lads are pretty weird. I mean, look at them. They have these flattened heads and a goofy smile. They have these feathery gills on the side of their faces, webbed feet, and a dorsal fin. If you ask me, they've got the perfect look. Like they're always ready to take a selfie, but also questioning why they would need to take one. Well, these little guys belong to the freak show of the amphibian world. I mean, they can regenerate not just the limbs, but their spine and their brains. Yeah, you heard me right. If these guys lose a body part, it's like a never-ending game of Fix-It Felix. I mean, imagine if every time you stub your toe, you could just grow a new one. Life would be so much easier, right? But these guys, they can lose an entire leg and regrow a new one as if nothing happened. Yeah, I bet you wish you could regenerate your brain every time you make a questionable decision on Tinder. But one of the weirdest things about axolotls is they're basically the poster child for never growing up. They're eternally young. That's right, these guys are out here living their best Peter Pan lives with something called neoteny. Basically, they skip adulthood entirely and keep those sweet juvenile traits like gills and lungs. Yeah, I've mentioned the gills on the side of their face, but they also have functional lungs. And that's because these guys sort of get stuck in their juvenile state. Imagine a tadpole that loses the energy halfway through its metamorphosis into a frog. Ever seen a salamander going through a midlife crisis? Well, it's not these guys. They're living the dream. Not having to buy a sports car or get a second mortgage. Think of it as the amphibian version of the 90s slacker. Permanently stuck in adolescence with zero responsibilities. And honestly, I envy it. But if you think having both lungs and gills is weird, you may be surprised to know these guys can breathe through their skin as well. They're essentially superheroes. Come on, Marvel, we need Axolotl, man. There's a space in the market for a facially mutilated hero that can regenerate its limbs. Yeah, on second thought, that would never work. Axolotls are native to the Valley of Mexico in the Lake Xochimilco region. Yeah, that's right. These guys come from the coolest neighborhood that no one's ever heard of. They used to hang out in Lake Chalco too, but oops, humans drained it to avoid flooding. So they're basically now stuck in this one spot like,
hey, do you mind? I'm trying to be a mythical creature over here.
and did I mention their name? It's thought that the word axolotl is the Nahuatl word, meaning water monster. So in other words, you've got a water monster that never grows up, can regenerate limbs, and is just vibing around in its own aquatic utopia. Honestly, this is the kind of friend that we all need. Except, he never calls you back. Classic. Oh, and just to clear something up, even though their name is the Mexican walking fish, they're not fish, they don't walk, and I've never seen one wearing a sombrero drinking tequila. Relax, it was a joke. But seriously, these guys probably would drink tequila if they could get their hands on it. They're not picky eaters. They'll mainly eat worms, insects, mollusks, or basically anything that they can inhale. And I mean inhale. They're pretty much Kirby at this point. Silly pink creatures that inhale anything that they get their dopey little eyes on. Yeah, that's Kirby. But you want to know something really fun? If a baby axolotl gets too close to its ma, nom 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 nom. But hey, at least they won't judge you for making any bad decisions, right? Nothing says parenting goals like devouring your offspring before they even have chance to cry. Talk about taking tough love to the extreme. But honestly, if I could regenerate my brain every time I regretted a life choice, I'd be in my feelings too. And just when you thought axolotls couldn't get any weirder, let's talk about their courting rituals. These guys don't just swipe right on each other. No. They perform a full-on dance before mating. Visual and chemical signals. It's like a slow motion dance-off, except more gills and less rhythm. And then, hold on to your hat, females can lay up to 1,000 eggs in one go. That's 1,000 tiny axolotls waiting to eat anything in sight and probably get eaten themselves. It's a circle of life, right? Oh, and don't be thinking that these parents are going to stick around to help them hatch. These creatures couldn't care less about their babies. I mean, these parents aren't out here making Pinterest boards for their kids' first birthdays. No, they're out here eating their own offspring like some crazy aquatic monster version of Game of Thrones. And even if they don't eat them, they don't care about their larvae. What they're supposed to do? Show up with cupcakes? Nah. These axolotls are like,
You wanna grow up? We start growing, kiddo. Without me.
this is pretty bad for the population of wild axolotls. As you can imagine, these guys are critically endangered. They're only found in one lake, they eat their own babies, and they've got some pretty serious predators too. I mean, humans are out here roasting them like they're the next big food trend. The most optimistic estimate puts them into their hundreds in the wild. I mean, if you're more rare than a unicorn wearing a fedora, then you're in trouble. So yeah, no more axolotl pool parties for us until we get serious about saving them. So remember folks, axolotls are the water monsters that never grow up, can basically regenerate anything, and probably make better life choices than most of us. But hey, at least they don't need a gym membership, right? Sure, they're part lazy millennial, part heartless parent. But hey, we're still rooting for you, buddy. You may be rare, but you hold a special place in our hearts. Just, you know, don't eat us or your own kids. Hey, we all have boundaries. If you like this video, give us a like, it cheeky little scamp. And subscribe so you don't miss out next week when we spin this wheel and find a creature that begins with B. What will it be? That rhymed. See you later.